All right, drone video for a big, beautiful property at the Jesse James project. This is tract 8, about 40 acres. We're in the meadow toward the northwest side of the property. We're actually looking south right now. This is an early spring drone video. Whenever possible, we love to take drone videos in the winter or the early spring because before the leaves are on the trees, you can actually see how the ground lays. You can see if there's been any recent logging. In this case, we saw no signs of any recent logging, which matched up with what we already knew about this property. That's Mill Creek right there. That crosses directly over the property. Beautiful little creek in the Ozarks. So you've actually got about a quarter mile, a little over a quarter mile of Mill Creek directly on your property, and you do own both sides of the creek and the middle. All right, there's a aerial map. So we're up at the northwest corner, kind of right in the middle of the field. We're going to do a flyover. We'll see a little bit of the easement road system. The blue line is Mill Creek. The property's mostly wooded, 90% wooded. At the southwest corner, you can see a clearing, which is the larger power line. There's a topo map. So lowest by the creek rises up as you go in every direction from the creek, which is pretty normal. Largest flat area other than the meadows looks like toward the northeast side of the property. There is a live spring toward the east side. You can see that on the map. It comes right out of the base of the hillside. We discovered that when we were out there. It was after this drone video was taken, so the live spring is not in the drone video. Look at that big sycamore tree off to the right. You'll see sycamores generally just right down by creek beds. Sycamores need a really good water source. So if this video were taken about 2 weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, that the trees would be all leafed out, it'd be a sea of greenery. But since that is not the case, we can actually see the property rather than just a beautiful blanket of green. The white trees that you see are dogwoods. They're the very first, generally first to start to leaf out. So you see the dogwoods for a week or two, and then you start to see the hardwood trees. If you look off kind of in the distance and up on the right, you can see some of the trees are leafing out. So they're the trees that sit higher up. As you get down closer toward the creek where it's cooler at night, cooler in the mornings, it takes those trees longer to get their leaves. So that's what you're seeing here. It's actually pretty beautiful. So we're looking westerly at the property, which of course is on both sides of the creek. Now we're spinning around like a wild man. That's the general area. We're probably looking at the trail, the easement trail to the property. So this tract, obviously you need a four-wheeler or a side-by-side to get to it. These existing trails are not designed for vehicles. They're designed for four-wheelers or side-by-sides. You can see all the details on that on the listing page for the property. Mill Creek is gorgeous. It flows easterly for about 2-3 miles into the Gasconade River. So Mill Creek, we have no idea if it's a year-round creek. We try not to call any creek year-round. Mill Creek has had water in it whenever we've been out there, but it certainly could dry up. We did see minnows, quite a few minnows in the creek, which is an indication that it more than likely has water the majority of the year, at least pools of water. Otherwise, those minnows wouldn't be there. So now we're toward the east. Where are we? lost my bearings. We're on the property. That dry creek bed you saw. Okay, you can see that on the topo map. That flows southerly, meets up with Mill Creek. The little red side by side is on the meadow at the property. Now we're kind of drifting to the east, and we know from the topo map and seeing it right here that the property rises up and levels out. I don't think that meadow that you saw, I don't think that's on the property. Close to it, might even border it. In fact, yeah, that meadow itself borders the northeast side of the property. The timber that we're seeing is on the property as we look westerly. So those trees are actually beginning to leaf out toward the upper area. and then we're going back to the west. It's sloping down. So yeah, all those trees that you see in the meadow that, I mean, they almost look dead, but they're not. They just don't have their leaves yet. I mean, a couple might be dead. I don't know. But every tree that we saw out there was healthy. They just haven't leafed out. In fact, the trees that leaf out the last are generally the black walnut trees. So some of those trees down by the meadow may be black walnuts. So yeah, the dogwoods are the white trees. The purplish flowers you see are the redbuds, and they come out just slightly after the dogwood trees do. Beautiful meadow area. The hunting out here is unbelievable. Deer hunting and turkey hunting. It's funny because the kind of the whitetail deer hunting is the big premier thing throughout most of the U.S. But in this instance, the turkey hunting out here is world class in this area and on these specific tracks. This one as well. The turkey hunting is just unreal, but it kind of gets overshadowed by the deer hunting. Side by side, parked in the meadow on the property. Super private tract, awesome for hunting, camping, recreation, all that good stuff. Check out the listing page. If you have any questions, let us know.